start off with the Mark Ruffalo quote. Basically saying Mark Ruffalo thought Thor Ragnarok would break the MCU. Yeah, I did.
I at first, like, based on, this is from ScreenRant.com, based on the title, I was kind of confused where this was going to go. Is it going to break it because it's
so great?
It's like breaking the internet because it's so amazing. Is it breaking off from it? I wasn't completely sure.
So Ruffalo was talking with Collider in an interview, and he was quoted saying, "Do you know how many times I was like, are we breaking the Marvel Universe? We threw everything out. We started all over again with this. We threw the Thor franchise out." Wow. I just like how he said it. Just really just blew me away that he just says that.
Boom, that's it. Yep. Oh, fuck it. Who cares?
When we get into our review, you'll hear
clearly
some of
they
this.
did that. Yep.
We threw everyone's perception of Banner out. We threw everyone's perception of Hulk out. We threw everyone's perception of Thor out. And yes, we knew what we were doing. At the same time, we were like, let's just do it. Let's just go for it. Or let's go for it. And let's just do it to the best and the most honest and fun way that we can take. Taika, whatever, Waititi, did that. And he wasn't afraid of that. Like, oh no, he's afraid to make a movie funny. Like, yeah, what an extreme measure. Anyway, I guess get rid of a bunch of stuff is what he's talking about. So we improvised a lot and we played. And that playfulness is really appealing on screen. If you say so, Mark. If you say so. We'll get into our reviews, but I just want to talk about that. I thought it was kind of interesting. You could tell that maybe there was some conflict going on a little bit in some of the actors and maybe even the director's mind a little bit when they were making Thor, when they were making Ragnarok.
Yeah, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but I do remember reading an article that included an interview with Chris Hemsworth, and he was talking about how they knew the first two Thors were not very critically received, pretty forgettable, for the most part, especially if you're talking phase 1 type movies. Thor's is probably one of the most forgettable out of that. And he goes on to say that we had to take a risk. We had to step outside of the box a little bit and see if we can gain some interest and gain some good critical value, I guess, by doing something different. So as Ruffalo saying, they basically threw everything out. As I'm hitting stuff, they threw everything out and just said, "Here, this is what we're going to give you."
I know this is a podcast. I'll put it on the YouTube portion of this, but I'll do my best to describe it for a obviously non-visual podcast. Right. But if you actually, there was a breakdown here actually of when they originally announced Thor Ragnarok, what the logo looked like to what it looked like now. And the difference is crazy.
Astonishing. Yeah.
You would almost say that Thor Ragnarok one was maybe that first one, the initial one when they announced Ragnarok, you'd almost say it was done by like Snyder.
Yeah.
Because it has a very gritty look to it. It's not very colorful.
Nope.
It looks a lot like the Man of Steel. It has like some of that aesthetic feel that like the Man of Steel logo had and stuff. When you saw that one, when you saw that kind of logo and shit like that.
Yeah.
It looks like that. It has like rock behind it and everything. It looks...
Yeah, darker tones. The red is more of like a maroon, dark in Ragnarok. As Matt said, there's like some stone behind it. The Thor is kind of like in the stone color, like a darker brown, type overlay, I guess. So definitely a little more like the gritty feel.
I think originally Thor Ragnarok was going to be real dark.
Yeah. Well, when you look at that, it gives you what the Ragnarok name should represent. Like some heavy hitting, like boom, like, take a look at this logo. And logos evolve, but to go to what we got,
the Memorex Guardians of the Galaxy look.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's yeah, and you could tell there's the tone right there. That's when they started saying, you know what, screw it, this is what we're gonna make, and that's ultimately when they ended up making. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Again, look it up. You can look it up. It's very telling. It's very telling to see what the original logo was looking like compared to now. And like Shane said, the Justice League logo's changed over time since it was first announced. But I mean, this is a drastic change.
Right. Yes.
This isn't like a little bit of a colorization.
No, yeah, exactly.
Or adding border lines here and there or something, or adding a star. No, this is fucking night and day difference.
Yeah, this is Tampa Bay Buccaneers orange ugly ass uniforms to like dark brown. Like that's like the jump that I could picture in my head of the difference of you have something that automatically looks very gritty. It gets your attention, I think, just in a different way. You're kind of like, oh shit, like if you were going to think of how Man of Steel was, or even Terminator, like
dun, 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 dun.
Exactly. So a film like that where there's gonna be some shit that goes down. That's what just that logo in itself, that's what it tells me. And to get what we got, I think for what the movie is that we eventually got, the new logo fits it better. But it's just amazing how
there was a drastic shift somewhere, either in script or director, or because you don't know when Taika Waititi came aboard. You don't know compared to when this logo was initially put out, so you don't know if he was on board then or not. But maybe they had a rough draft, and this is initially what it was going to look like. But the drastic change is, I don't know, it's big.
Yeah, I think it just kind of confirms what we've said in the past regarding Ragnarok. I think we said this on one of our recent episodes regarding using Civil War and Ragnarok just as names to get people's attention.
Right.
So they said, okay, we know we're going to do Thor. The third Thor is going to be called Ragnarok. We have no idea what it's going to be about. We need someone to mock up this image so that we can put it out there. And so when people look at it, they go, oh shit, that's Thor Ragnarok. I'm somewhat familiar with it. You know what Ragnarok means. And then from there, it's kind of evolved. It's
kind of like they build the logo and the title before they make the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that happens every time, but I mean, like
it does. But
they came up with a title long before they ever had an idea.
Look at Batman versus Superman as an example. I remember seeing the the shaky cam from when the logo got released of like, okay, this is the next step in the DCEU that we're gonna go, or DC or whatever you want to call it.
Say it right.
DCU sounds so weird. DCMU, yeah. So in the DCMU, but they said this is where the next step is going to be, and all they showed was a Superman logo inside the Batman logo, and that didn't really change, as things evolved. And then I don't remember if Dawn of Justice was used early on in that, or if it got slapped on later. But once it did, then you kind of knew, like, okay, now I know where they're going with this. How it's going to be. It's the Dawn of Justice League, like that kind of thing. So, but again, the main logo, the color stayed the same, the bat stayed the same. That evolved with the film, and they kind of stuck to, okay, this is how the tone is going to be. Ragnarok, huge shift somewhere. So. Yeah.
Whenever they actually watch the Blu-ray of Guardians of the Galaxy, when that changed.
Yeah, pretty much.
That meme is so right. It's not even funny. Maybe it is funny, actually. That's the joke, I guess. I think that's the joke. Another quote we have, or another interview that we're going to talk about, is Taika Waititi was talking about the early cuts of Thor Ragnarok were failed miserably. And I just want to preface this real quick. Again, there's 24 comments on the Screen Rant one. This has been out since October 30th. So it's been out roughly a weekish plus. And 24 comments on this, by the way. And if this was brought up about Justice League,
right,
it'd be like 200 comments.
Oh, yeah, easily.
See, this is the reaction people should have to when this information comes out.
Right.
Normal responses. Well, I don't know. I didn't click on the comments. There could be a bunch of dickbags in there, for all I know. But I mean, like, it's not a fucking overflowing amount of jackassery going on. And so it was just, hey, things change, as you're doing the process and post-production, things change, cuts happen.
Yeah.
And
I wonder, it's always interesting, I've never been a director. I never will be a director in this lifetime.
Done some homemade shit.
True. Yeah, but it's
ball cam's the
you know,
worst.
yeah, I go more like shaky cam type, handheld, you know, stylistic in that. Not a whole lot of editing. Nothing gets left on the, you know, the
Color
cutting room
correction.
floor.
A lot of color correction.
Yeah. But that's easy.
Enhance.
Large, please. But
CGI.
I wonder at what point the the director can look at a film and go, no, that's not the direction. We filmed all of these scenes. That's not what I was hoping for. Anyways,
I think that's what they call reshoots.
Yeah, that's true. It's just weird, you know. You feel like in their mind the director would have something. They obviously have storyboards, they have a script, they film all of these, then they get to the post-production and go, no, that didn't quite work. And that's really telling in this, where he said the first cuts were horrible. So his quote was, "So we failed miserably and had a funny first 10 minutes and then a super boring rest of the movie." I won't get my feedback, but that's luckily why you have such a long time in post-production, because you can test all these things out and get the very best film that you can. It didn't seem like much changed based on that quote.
He also additionally added, "It was very tricky. We spent a lot of time in post-production actually figuring that out. It was a very hard thing to strike that balance throughout 2 hours and 30 minutes or however many minutes this thing is. For that much time that you're engaging in the film." You know, he was just, you know, it's reasonable to me. I find this reasonable. This guy also is an indie guy, so he's never dealt with a big budget thing like this. He's probably got to deal with, obviously, producers and executives. It's Disney, you know. And
I can't wait till we get into those quotes, because those are pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, I get it. It makes sense. It is weird to me that there was a lot of like, okay, well, we had one goal when we're filming, and this is how it turned out, and I didn't really like it, so then we went back and did a lot of post-production reshoots and stuff like that. Again, reshoots are normal, but, you know, not when it happens in Justice League. It means a whole director's taking over.
It's like Thor went through the same exact things that everybody is saying about Justice League.
Yeah, even the director is saying, like, look, this wasn't the film.
Yeah, we had to do multiple cuts, you know, obviously, and we saw things change, and we'll get to that more later, but there's obviously a lot of things from that first trailer that everybody marked out about with the immigrant song and everything going in the background. A lot of things changed from that trailer.
Yeah.
A lot of things changed from that trailer. We'll get into that later because that's kind of a spoilers thing, but so many things changed from that trailer. So obviously things happen, things shift.
Yep.
And there's no reason to freak out about it, and no one did when it came to this movie. But for some reason, if it was DC...
Yeah. Oh, the amount of people that are talking about the tone, like the color overlay they're just using it as a, you know, to catapult their narrative.
Oh, I saw a great one today.
Okay. What was it?
The title was Jason Momoa confirms...
I saw this.
That Justice League is an MC...
Is now
a Marvel movie. Is now a Marvel movie. Yeah. And then you read it, and it's because Justice League's going to have a post-credit scene.
Yep. That's it. Which people were saying, oh, why doesn't Justice League, or why doesn't...
It sounds like to me it's going to be a Fearless Viewers Day Off movie to me. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
We got to look that up one of these days. What movie actually did a post-credit scene first?
One, yeah.
Because the fact that they relate that so much to Marvel is just... I mean, I understand they popularize it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not taking anything away from him, but there was a lot of movies that did it before him. I remember Pirates of the Caribbean fucking did it.
Yeah.
And give Pirates of the Caribbean that fucking credit, you assholes.
Yeah, it's more of a Disney thing, I guess, rather than a Marvel thing, but I digress.
So we got a little bit more from Taika Waititi. He was, I guess he was kind of just doing a little meet and greet talk or something. I'm not quite sure if this was an interview or what this exactly was.
Yeah, it was hard to kind of figure that out. I think, hold on. I guess it was just a panel for Deadline.
Yeah.
Because they said that he basically, Waititi had the most entertaining panel of the day. This is actually on Deadline.com, and he's holding a Deadline microphone, so that must be what it is.
And basically, he starts it off with saying, "By the way, this is whiskey and coffee," and I'm assuming he has a cup in his hand. So
no, well, in the picture right above, it's like this weirdish.
Ooh, that looks like turd water.
Yeah, I would have wondered. That's probably why he said that. Whiskey and coffee. All right. I like this guy. I don't know how much I like his films, but I like this guy.
I haven't seen any of his films, but I did see some things. I did see a couple things on YouTube off and on. There's some things he does that are really funny. I saw one thing where he responds to IGN comments about the movie Thor Ragnarok. That was not funny, and it was completely awful. But who knows how much he's holding back. When you can tell when this guy lets go and he just has his own momentum about something, you can tell he can be really, really fucking funny. But I think when he has, a giant studio that's paying $250 million for a fucking movie, I think he has a little bit of restrictions sometimes.
Yep.
So basically, he kind of goes on talking to this panel, with this interview or whatever, and he starts off with, he also talks about, it's my opening weekend, and I can say whatever the fuck I want. The article kind of persists on with Waititi kept it honest throughout the panel discussion, which was moderated by Deadlawn Anthony Del Andersero, whatever. I'm not going to try to say his. Oh wait, we got to say names right.
Yeah. Apparently, that was close. Anthony De Alessandro. There we go. Boom, we got it.
When asked about, no, we're doing it. Someone will make sure they point that out. When asked about why he decided to take on such a tentpole film like Thor. Money, straight up, is what his answer was. And I like how they add in, he zinged.
Saying he has 2 children who cost shitloads of money. Which, that made me laugh when I read that, because I'm like, oh yes, amen. Preach, brother, preach.
And see, this is just him chilling in front of a panel of people, and he's just going off the cuff with his own shit. And it's really fucking funny. Cost a shitload. He admitted not having much experience in the arena. Full disclosure, and this is his quote, full disclosure, I never made a superhero movie before.
No shit.
He was in Green Lantern, though, motherfucker.
Yeah.
His movies were more around the budgets where he's cutting up carrots for the crew, meaning it's basically a shitstorm. Like, they're eating carrots and shit. It's not catered. It's not serviced and stuff like that. If you ever want to hear anything about, like, Marvel shit, you just have to listen to any Dave Bautista conversation.
On any podcast,
on his Jericho, when he talks to Jericho, Chris Jericho, look it up. Talk His Jericho podcast, look for the Dave Bautista ones. I think he's done a couple with them, talking about how Marvel just treats him, gives him like this big, huge house in like London, and stuff. And it's like a 4-bedroom house. He's all by himself and shit. And for London, it's like ginormous,
right?
Like just the food and everything.
Well, he also talks about how when he first got on the first Guardians of the Galaxy, how he was being treated, and people are like, I want to say it was him. It might have been someone else, but he said they were constantly asking him if he wanted something. He's like, no, I'm good. Like every day. And then finally he's like, yeah, I'll take a Red Bull. And then every day from that moment on, he had like 3 Red Bulls. He's like, I just fucking wanted one. Just that one day. I'm pretty sure that was Bautista.
Yeah, and he was also talking about how he's used to doing things on his own, and like people get mad at him when he started doing things on his own and shit. It was wow. Anyway,
interesting. Yeah.
Basically, he continues on saying, so I thought Marvel didn't care anymore. He zinged, according to that.
Man, he zinged. Like,
he zinged and zagged like crazy.
Come up with another
Again, he continues, my strengths were tone, and that's it. And that's disputable at that, sir. He joked. Oh, he didn't zing this time. He joked. Fuck. He joked before adding more attributes like character, dialogue, and humor, which was clear. I said you guys, and he quotes again, I said you guys can take care of the explosions. I'll focus on what I've done before. He continued, and I didn't get fired because I'm a G. So that's just kind of how, this is the guy that made the movie. And you can tell he don't give a fuck.
No.
And I kind of love that. I really do love that type of shit where people just, they will not give a serious answer almost no matter fucking what.
Yeah. That's awesome. You definitely get a sneak peek of his personality. And not saying that the movie should have been like this, but you can tell he's quick-witted, and obviously he had quite a few jokes in this. So
and whiskey and coffee.
Yeah, that's probably how he got the jokes.
Or poo water, whatever the hell that was. Yeah, so again, this guy, the director of this movie, he seems like a cool guy. I love some of the stuff he's done. If there's one thing on YouTube, look it up about him talking about racism. It's hilarious.
It is. Yeah, you have to look it up.
Yeah, it's really,
people
really
are
funny.
Like, what? Racism hilarious?
It can be very funny if it's done right.
Yes, exactly.